entering an agreement with WISDOT to mitigate traffic impacts on various city streets during the I-94 East-West Freeway project. And we have a film that we get to watch. Please.
So tonight we have this resolution on the agenda today and the accompanying agreement with WISDOT because as you know the east-west corridor is going to start this fall. We know West Allis is going to receive a huge impact from that, from additional traffic, people avoiding the freeway. So as we've been working with WISDOT on mitigation efforts along the Greenfield Avenue corridor and what West Allis feels would be appropriate, we started talking about how do we get traffic down Greenfield Avenue better because it is going to be the posted detour. So earlier in the year, TAPCO had come out and shown us some information about AI and how it works with traffic signals. There is a system called No Traffic that was kind of interesting, so we contacted them. We've worked with DOT. DOT is willing to buy into this No Traffic AI system, and we think what it does is it adjusts traffic basically on the fly, real time. So if you're seeing congestion, it'll adjust itself. The DOT is willing to make the investment in it. There's no upfront cost to West Allis to have it installed. The first 5 years are covered for maintenance and programming and everything. After that, there will be an annual cost to the city, but at least we get and we get all the installation, all the equipment paid for by DOT. So I'm going to let Lindsay from TAPCO kind of explain it a little more in detail. We have a short video of how it worked in Arizona, and I think it's going to be really, really good for the city. So
awesome. Hi everybody, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm in charge of all of our technology at TAPCO that touches to signalize intersections and intelligent transportation systems across the country. But a lot of our work is here in the state of Wisconsin, so I'm excited to be a part of this project. The Greenfield Mitigation Project, as Melinda mentioned, and by the way, I'm going to spend maybe 10 minutes, so I'm going to try to get through this very quickly, but I really want to give you a good idea of what the technology does. It's very needed. It's needed without this, to be honest with you. But this is going to increase the amount of congestion on Greenfield Avenue, and it's going to it has a big impact on it, even worse than it is today. So the I-94 West Freeway project, if you're not familiar with it, it's going to run from 70th to 16th Street, and it's going to start next month. They're also closing down the Holly ramps. So as Melinda mentioned, Greenfield Avenue is one of the detours. So this is going to flush traffic from 94 into West Allis. And so again, we'd love to fund it. We'd love to fund it without this project, but thankfully WISDOT has put out an agreement. Melinda and her team did a phenomenal job of not only identifying no traffic, but a few other creative engineering countermeasures that I think are going to help. So great job to your team. So now we get the ability to not only reduce congestion right now during this project, but for years to come. You'll have it and you can use it for a really long time. The technology that's on the intersections that you see right here, so I did map them out. So you'll see it starts at National Avenue and 60th, comes down here to 62nd, it's going to go all the way to 81st Street. That's 12 intersections, 12 signalized intersections. We're going to remove this intersection at 75th Street and put an RFB system in, which is a great idea.
rapid flashing beacon.
Just it's not going to stop traffic unless a pedestrian is there, and so removing that intersection just frees up a lot of traffic. So
The distance between 76th Street and 75th Street is the shortest out of that whole corridor. So when 75th Street has a signal and it turns red, it backs up during peak hour through 76th Street. And I can tell you, we hear a lot of horns up in the engineering department. So that signal seems to need to go away just to increase functionality no matter what. And we're going to put the pedestrian rapid flashing beacon in there to help with pedestrian crossing there.
great. So a lot of the technology that's out there today, we have some controllers, traffic signal controllers that are over 30 years old. So imagine what technology you were using over 30 years ago. I mean, that's brick phone stuff. So the technology advancements in transportation have mirrored a lot of the advancements that we see in our everyday life. So it's important that West Allis upgrades this technology regardless. So our proposal is going to give you all new traffic signal controllers, going to replace a few cabinets, but the main thing that it's going to do is install these detection cameras at each of those 12 intersections. And again, WSDOT has graciously agreed already to fund the entire project. So really it's just a matter of getting the go ahead and we'll get to work for you. Everything's in stock, which is amazing these days with supply chain. So we're ready to go. I want to tell you a little bit about the sensors. So this is video and radar that's staring at intersection. This is a nice little graphic of what it does. You have one camera at each intersection looking at traffic, looking at queuing traffic. So that's going to talk to the controller and say, hey, I know you have a timing plan, but look what's here. Today, none of the intersections have this. So they're strictly reliant upon Melinda and her team to update those timing plans, which is very labor intensive and can be costly if you have to outsource it. What this is going to do, because the detection is so accurate, that it's going to look at all these vehicles and it's going to inform the controller and an optimization protocol to literally run thousands of different optimization patterns and pick the best one. So the detection's highly accurate, as I mentioned. It's accurate in all weather conditions. We have installations across the country. So while it is cutting edge technology you're going to get, it's not that it hasn't been out there for years. And what's nice is that it's going to come with its own network. So you don't have to worry about city network. It's a dual redundancy modem that it comes with, so it's going to collect and give you data. Also give us data to help build this optimization platform for you over the course of only 90 days. So it'll be up and running by February in time to really have an impact on some of the congestion. So as you can see, we have installs in the gale force winds of hurricanes in Florida, all the way to the desert of Arizona to the snow in Maine. They're all over the place. This is an example of some of the information that we're going to be collecting. This will be useful for Melinda and her team. The traffic on Greenfield Avenue is very unreliable. It's fluctuating a lot. You have Brewers games, you have events at State Fair Park, and now this. So again, in order to benchmark and collect this data and really tell if the program and the solution is working, we can collect all of this data, and that's what we're going to do at the beginning, is to help benchmark and say, hey, okay, what's working, what's not working, and work with Melinda's team on that. But we get to take a lot of the labor burden off of her, which is also really nice. I mentioned there's cameras at every intersection. You get eyes on all these intersections now. And so alerts can be sent through the platform, and they will automatically be sent when there's a collision, if an intersection goes into flash, if there's a work zone set up, if there's a stalled vehicle. So you don't have to rely on the traveling public now to inform you of those things happening. You have eyes on the intersection already, and the platform will inform you. These are all curated by a team in Kansas City, so it isn't 100% AI. So we aren't going to bother you with every little thing, but the cameras are pretty smart, and they all have NVIDIA chips inside them, so it's the best technology out there for AI. And really not necessarily AI, more machine learning. We're also going to give you front panel access, so now your technician team will be able to access the panel of the controller from their desks. Now, that's a safer way to access it. It's a more time-efficient way to access it. And this is the big kahuna. This is optimization mode. So this is us running thousands of scenarios through the traffic signal controller and picking optimal delay. This is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So as those unreliable traffic patterns change, this system allows the traffic signal timing to change at the same time. Again, saving Melinda's team time, but really doing things that no agency could ever afford to do because the AI is running so quickly. It's running a simulator next to the intersection. So this is what's going to happen during the first 90 days is we're going to watch and learn. We're going to see what's happening with the traffic patterns. So the fact that we're installing this in conjunction with the beginning of the project is really good. We'll be able to get some really good data, but we'll continue to get that data. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop for 5 years. So, that's kind of how it works and how the optimization protocols work. And so you're really gonna see some massive impacts. Which is why I'm so excited to be here to talk to you about it, because I think the traveling public down Greenfield Avenue is gonna see something. Not only is it less complaints, but it's actually a lot, you're gonna experience carbon reduction of greenhouse gases in the megatons, as well as an economic impact. The better flow you have through these intersections, the less cars stop, the less gas they use. The less time and laborious it is for us to manage those intersections and manage that traffic. So there's real cost involved, and we're gonna help measure that cost for you and report that back. So just to kind of show you some case studies around the country. We're gonna work really closely with Melinda's team because different agencies want different things out of this technology, and we've seen a lot. Vancouver, British Columbia is a college campus. They actually want to prioritize pedestrians, not vehicle traffic. And so one of the things that we can do as we optimize vehicle traffic is our cameras see pedestrians. We're going to keep them safe as this is happening. And we're going to make sure that they get their time as well as the vehicles. And they will be able to cross safely, efficiently, and not experience massive delays. Tucson, Arizona saw an 80% reduction in red light running because we were able to keep traffic moving. You don't run red lights if you don't feel like you're sitting there forever. A 25% average delay reduction and a 32% average short commute. I won't go into every detail because I really want to get through this, but again, just kind of showing some of the highlights, especially the things that are important to you. Phoenix, Arizona. Just $12.5 million economic impact and 4,800 megatons of carbon reduction in greenhouse gases that's happening through better technology and better moving of traffic. Again, a 70% reduction in red light running, 29% reduced in the afternoon commute. That was a really heavy traffic time for them. People are a lot happier when they have 29% less travel time trying to get home at night.
I can tell you Greenfield Avenue has one of the longest PM peaks I have ever seen. It starts about 1 in the afternoon and goes till 6 o'clock in the evening. And that is an insanely long PM peak. So to get any reduction in it is gonna be super beneficial.
Yeah, good. Again, Collier County, so we're down in Florida. Reductions in travel time there. South Florida oversaturation, so we reduced the vehicle saturation by 60% in the morning and 40% in the afternoon. So able to just space those cars out, create a little bit of breathing room there. So that's all I have for you on the technology. I do have a quick video that just kind of pulls everything together that I like to show, but happy to answer any questions too. But this is a nice video. This is going to focus on our Tucson, Arizona deployment, which is over 100 intersections.
And it's jazz music.
That's pretty snappy too.
See how great everything is?
I've used this song.
I think it's and I'll point out that they're comparing the same time too. It's not saying, 12 noon versus 4 o'clock. They're comparing the same time period. All right, is everything I have for you? You're welcome. Thank you.
I have a question. So, where are you gonna go? I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yes,
Oh, okay. I didn't ask either. I was just.
that's okay.
So yeah, the traffic signal heads that are there currently, those are gonna stay the same, or are we getting new traffic signals?
Well, the signal heads work perfectly fine. We're gonna reuse as much equipment as we can to maximize the funds that you're getting. So yeah, those will stay.
Okay, so
New-
people,
New signal heads will come and new signal poles will come when the corridor is rebuilt with WISDOTs for projects 2029, 2030. But we'll be able to reinstall this equipment back on the poles.
okay. And this sensor thing, where is it mounted at each of the signals? Is it mounted way up high so it can look down?
Yeah, it's mounted just under 30 feet. And so what we want to do is we want to get enough clearance so that we can see advanced as far as possible, so that we can track the vehicles. It's kind of a platooning effort. So it's not just at each intersection, it's every single intersection together. So they'll be mounted on, probably on some arms that'll extend out over the intersection to see the traffic.
And they might be on the signal poles, they might be on the light poles that are next to the intersections. So, but they're trying to get a view of as much of the corridor as they can, so that it can track traffic as it's coming through and make those adjustments. Okay, we had just a bunch of cars come in from 80th Street, we gotta adjust because now we've got these extra cars in this platoon, and groups of cars are called platoons, so. But they're trying to see as far as they can so they can track and adjust, just as more come in, less come out, it all works together.
Alright, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I learned my lesson, thank you.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, thank you for all of the work that you've been putting into Melinda. I have a few questions. I know you said that this is covered for the first 5 years, what would be the cost post 5 years?
Sure, so
Roughly.
it's about, for the mobility platform itself is about 10,500 per intersection. And then the optimization is, so the initial upfront is about 22,000, so it's about half the cost per intersection. And then about $13,000 per intersection for another, now that's for another 5 years. So if the annual fee is around $2,500, maybe $5,000 an intersection per year. Now, that's your discretion. After 5 years, all the equipment is still there. It still works, just fine. So it's still going to be detecting. If you want to continue optimization, then I would look about $4,000 or $5,000 per intersection per year. Or if you buy more years, it'll be a little less expensive. That answers your question.
Okay, thank you. Question 2 is, obviously we know that this is a detoured route. So how are we factoring in the amount of commuters that are going to bypass that hauling now and use our detour route? As far as you say, the flow will be decreased by 29%, but what if we have much more traffic that is going through, obviously because of it?
That's a great question. And I don't know if WSDOT did any studies to tell you what the increased congestion would be.
WSDOT hasn't really done
They probably
that.
wouldn't know. I don't know how they would know, but it's a really good point because we'll be kind of starting as it's ticking up. So I think it would be important for your team, and this is standard with the service, to create those benchmarks up front, and then to talk about them on a regular basis. We'll look at them every couple of weeks as we build the algorithms, but that's kind of unknown, I think. So the percentage, we wouldn't really say it right now. We wouldn't say, oh, guess what, West Allis, you're going to see a 30% reduction, because we can take a look at it and go, oh, when we look at this one, we're like, this is a good one. We're going to see, we know we're going to make an impact, but we won't know until we're in the project exactly what that impact is going to be, because there's so many changing factors right now.
Right,
And
thank you.
then, I'm sorry, when the construction is done on the east-west corridor, and there'll be a natural reduction, or hopefully maybe people will still come through and go, West Allis is awesome, and I'm gonna still rock it through here. But again, they'll have a good experience because of the way the traffic flows, and it's easy to get around, and so it's kind of a weird start to implementation, but I think it's the right time because it's gonna be such a major impact. We need something to help us out. Otherwise, Ari Smith is gonna be out here all the time, Don Mollison from DPW is gonna be out there all the time, and we're gonna be constantly tweaking it. And I think this will help it change on the fly so that we don't have a delay in helping traffic get through.
And third question would be, or kind of expanding on that, is I believe when it was proposed many years back, Mayor Devine attended, maybe there is some data on how much traffic uses the, Holly Road, so we can kinda estimate, with sister cities and
Got it.
whatnot. We don't know, like you said, until we get there. My third question is, you said it's up to 81st Street's intersection, or is it 84th?
Well, the last signal will be on 81st, because 84th is a state controlled intersection, but it's gonna look towards 84th and we will get some of that optimization right after 84th Street. So because DOT owns that one, we didn't get, our grant doesn't cover that. Now, I don't know if DOT's gonna do something there, but our grant covers from 81st Street.
And it's a big question for me, cause obviously that's the start of mine and Dana's district.
Ah.
And it is very problematic, as you know, once you get to 84th, that bottlenecks. It is the worst travel between 84th and 92nd Street. We have constant problems with kids having safe crossings, even pedestrians flowing back and getting across the street. And you and I
Yep.
discussed that,
And
putting
we're-
lights in.
Yeah, and we are looking at the rapid flashing beacon for 87th Street as well.
Okay, but then we have the post 92nd issue, where everything opens up and it becomes the freeway.
Yeah.
So I know that you have this stretch, but it seems like it just dead stops at 3rd District, going up to, 5th.
Right.
And I don't know how you feel about it, Alderman Haas, but you know that if we're listening to Pulse Point, I've just picked up on that. 3 to 5 accidents a week in that stretch, which is crazy, from, Highway 100 to the exit ramps on the freeway. It is just crazy. So I would love to know that we can add something to that area.
Are there signals there?
There's signals at 84th Street, which are controlled by DOT, then the next side is 92nd Street. So, and then after that would be the freeway,
99th or 98th,
98.
yeah, over the bridge.
Yeah, that's what,
Yeah.
So 92nd is West Allis, but,
Yep, and
but
then
84th is DOT.
84th is
Got it.
DOT.
Okay.
Cause it's the intersection of 2 connecting highways.
Okay.
And then it gets up to the bridge, and then the signals after the bridge at the freeway on ramps is actually State Trunk Highway 59 and
Got it.
100% DOT
Yeah.
control.
And I just think, like I said, being that bottlenecks, that's very important that we take a look at that. I think it shouldn't just end at 81st, although 81st is about the longest lane ever. Known to man.
I think that,
I am totally up
was
for
it the
moving things around.
National and 60th was another one that you said was pretty
Yeah.
rough.
National and 60th, that triangle between National, Greenfield, and 160th up to 62nd is also a very
I legitimately could drive 2 times around the block before that one changes.
I like that.
Well, let us know.
if we wanna expand this grant, we have to talk with DOT to see if we can get them to do something more.
Well,
Again, all we can do is ask them, so.
exactly, and I've been working, Dana and I have been talking about collecting this data, because like I said, Pulse is straight on, it's accident after accident, and I just think it's worth a look, and if there's anything that we can do as alders, I'd like to
Sure.
to help with that. So, thank you very much, I have no other questions.
Great question.
Thank you.
Could you explain that beacon thing again? That's on 81st Street?
Oh, so
I know.
I said it very fast, so it's a
Yes.
rectangular rapid flashing beacon. And it is essentially, it's using, you've seen them, I know you have, right here.
Oh,
This guy. So, so it's gonna be on either side of the street, solar powered?
It depends on, there's actually electricity there, so
Oh,
we can
nice.
go hardwired.
That's even better.
Yep.
So, it has to, per the MUTCD, which is the manual that governs everything on the roads, it has to have push buttons. And so pedestrians can push a button and that'll start to flash amber. So the important thing there is that it's not flashing red, it's flashing amber. So it's asking vehicles to proceed with caution when there's a pedestrian in the crosswalk. So it's gonna still protect pedestrians like a signalized intersection, but it isn't gonna stop traffic, which the stopping of traffic is what's becoming problematic because the signals are so close together.
Because that's a pretty major crossing there to get to the Hank Aaron Trail.
Oh, Yeah, and the Hank Aaron Trail is highly
That's why I'm wondering why it
trafficked.
wouldn't go red.
Well, because we're like, if it stops, then, you know, we get back to that congestion through the intersection of 76th Street. So we want people to have it flash yellow. Cars will naturally stop because they're seeing the,
They're gonna naturally stop.
well, actually, these intersections have some of the best compliance with cars stopping than any other form of pedestrian crossing technology we have other than a hawk.
And we usually recommend this countermeasure against a hawk system, which will stop traffic because of the speed of traffic here is 25 miles an hour. So generally 25 miles an hour and below would recommend this anyway. And that's not necessarily a TAFCO recommendation, but it's MUTC recommendation. You get into 35 and above is when you wanna really stop it.
And if I may ask Chief Mitchell, do you need to get into any of these cameras? Does anything go back to your station?
That was good, I'll ask later, but yeah, we would review camera footage in a crash, so we would just need to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, and you can have unlimited users.
Yep.
So that's pretty common that we would set up their own account. And it's a viewer only access, and then, I mean, it's been used for, other stuff, you know, theft.
Yeah,
Kidnapping, you know.
yep,
And
no,
so
we
it's
don't.
been, having more cameras is good for public safety, yeah.
And the one in Arizona, was that for a detour also, or did you just put one up there?
It wasn't for a detour, that was just a really problematic corridor
Okay.
that they were struggling with being able to deploy signal timing more effectively enough.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
thank you for the presentation.
Yeah.
Just like true AI, you know, you rely on the data to help feed all your algorithms to help everybody else. Our data is going to help us. Is there ever a future where you no longer need our data and that data no longer is subsidizing, you know, what we're paying?
Yeah.
Are we going to get stuck with like a double bill one year when it's like, well, we don't need the information anymore?
So are you talking like data usage charges on the cellular network?
So your relay, right? We're gonna get all our data, but you're gonna get the data too. And I'm
Right.
assuming that data is gonna be fed into your mass system and
It
as
feeds
this
a,
gets better.
it feeds a very specific traffic simulation software called Sumo.
Mhm.
So it's not, I would say that it doesn't get into the real big data world yet.
Okay.
But it certainly could. I mean, anyone, it's just not big enough yet. It does so are you just asking like, where we would start to like pay you to use your data or
No,
something?
well, the way I look at it is you need our data, and I mean, we need the data too for
You need us to need it, yeah.
Yeah, it's reciprocal, right? But like eventually that data might no longer be useful.
Yeah, so I would say that we're already could be there, but not with as much a high enough confidence. So there is software out there that exists that uses TomTom data. TomTom data is probe data, and your phone, your vehicle, is just pinging. If your phone's on, it'll ping that. And we're talking to WISDOT about, in addition to some of these mitigation measures out on the interstate, using some of that TomTom probe data, but it's only about maybe 50% accurate. So in a signal optimization, it just wouldn't be reliable enough. But you can use that data from people's cell phones to review statistics on distracted drivers with some degree of, you could say, somebody goes into an app that's not Google Maps and it's Facebook, they're driving, it's distracted. So I mean, you can do some really powerful stuff with that. So yeah, I would say eventually, and especially when we get to a world where we're installing roadside units, and which by the way, this comes with one. So this is really future proof. You would be able to connect this whole corridor if the FHWA released that, the capability to allow for that. Auto manufacturers already have onboard units in a lot of vehicles. So you would have the ability to, it's not legal right now, but when it is, you could do that. So when we get into that world, then the car cars are gonna talk to the infrastructure, and you're not gonna need to put infrastructure up, it's just gonna be there. 5G is everywhere. So, but that's probably 20, 30 years, yeah, but it's a really valid question, because I think it speaks to how quickly transportation, technology is advancing.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Chair, I have another question.
Please.
Believe it or not. You had mentioned about this also being helpful for pedestrian safety and crossing.
Yeah.
Obviously, downtown is probably the most lights you'll ever see in the city. How does that work when we're measuring the flow of traffic to get the flow of traffic going? How long is a pedestrian, and how does that pedestrian cross in a downtown, what's supposed to be pedestrian-friendly area?
Right, so, it not only does the AI say, oh, it tracks 6 different classification types. So bicycles, pedestrians, trucks, buses, cars, semis. So it'll start to look at it and it'll say, there's a ton of pedestrian traffic at these peak times. And we'll give that information to Melinda, and then we'll do something called, start to track pedestrian delay. So how long do they have to stand there? And there's benchmarks that exist today, and they're just out in the general public. FHWA just publishes them, that says a pedestrian is gonna try to cross after X number of seconds, they just are. And that becomes a dangerous situation. So we will benchmark the delay in pedestrian traffic at different times of day against the optimization protocol that's built into the controllers for vehicles. So we don't want them waiting too long, especially during these times. And that's where it starts to get very complex, and why it's such a nice tool to have, because you can take all these inputs and manipulate them actually pretty easily with rules. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I just
Okay.
wanna stress the point that we're looking very hard as one of our goals is to be pedestrian friendly.
Awesome, yeah.
So that was just a key question for me.
Yep.
That we're not putting too much balance, or not putting enough balance between the two. That is, our city should not just be the pass-through. We've worked real hard for it not to be.
Right. You'll see, I mean, probably won't see it, but it'll be a part of the whole program. Yeah.
Thank you. And that is it.
Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, one of the things I was wondering about, and for Melinda, you were talking about before about without the system, you would be changing things on, how does that affect you so much with this? Does it lessen the amount of man hours that you need for this?
It will definitely help us in response to, we should be receiving less calls because there's less delays, less complaints about, I had to wait here all the time.
Yeah.
It will, I don't know how much Don goes out there quite a bit. Yeah, so having all new equipment out there is gonna really save DPW and Don quite a bit of time, and if he can do it from his desk, like if one gets hit or something and he can, it's not like severe damage, he can log in and see what's going on, reprogram, correct it, whatever has to be done to it. So I think it's gonna be very impactful. It's much for engineering as it is gonna be for DPW.
So that would, if after the initial time, this will give us a chance to save a little money that way as well, if we have to spend more continuing on the program. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Chief, you're good?
Good?
Okay. No, I meant, it sounded like you wanted to ask another question, but you're.
No, not at all.
Okay, sorry.
You're seeing things again.
Okay, is there a motion?
We have another item 21. Oh, well then I move that we adopt item 20.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now we'll go to 21.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, really appreciate it.
21 is resolution 2025-2962, resolution to approve a construction contract with Arch Solar in the amount of up to $45,030 for the installation of solar panels at Liberty Heights Pavilion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
And this will go to you, Turner, too, because obviously this is your district. But I know that when we approved all of the payments for Liberty Heights New Pavilion, it went well above budget. Are we getting grants, or how is this happening for the Arch Solar to be installed? Is this completely
I
on
believe we
our?
have someone from Public Works here that could possibly answer that. That'd be you, Dave?
Grants.
Oh, you are. Thank you.
Back when it was called an Energy Conservation Block Grant, and we used the funds to provide energy efficiency loans to downtown West Allis businesses. It came through American Recovery Act, number a while ago. That program income of all those payments we have in a fund. We're using that fund money to pay for the solar of the pavilion. So it's supposed to be for energy improvements like that. This will provide not only it'll pay back in 15 years for the pavilion, but also has the ability to generate electricity to light the park.
Perfect, thank you.
Anyone else?
I move approval.
Okay, it's been moved. Did I hear a second?
Yeah, move.
Literally,
There was a motion and a second
Been
here.
moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And last, we have item 22, resolution 2025-2968, resolution to amend the existing contract with Blue Ribbon Organics for the continuation of yard waste management services. You wanna talk about this a little bit, Dave?
So,
This is the company from Caledonia, correct?
yes,
Okay.
so this is an amended contract that we had since 2016. The 3-year contract extension would be for the amount, or approximately $390,000. We're averaging about 4,500 tons of yard waste that we collect spring and fall. They're a reputable vendor, contractor, and they've been very, very good, I guess, with their service. We went out with the RFP in 2016 as well as 2021. So competitively, they've been, asked to submit their bids, and we would like to extend the current contract and amend it for a 3-year cycle.
And then they take it down to Caledonia, grind it
Yes.
all up,
Yep.
and sell it.
Correct. Yep. They process it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Thanks.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, we're adjourned.
Okay, calling Public Safety Committee to order. Let the record reflect that all committee members are present. We have item 25, which is 2025-6464, new operator's license, bartender Class D operator application for Tyler Richards. Is Mr. Richards here? Did Mr. Richards call? Is there a motion?
Um,
Go ahead.
Motion to deny based on non-appearance and the record of the applicant.
Oh, yeah.
But he does have a valid driver's license, so somehow that it is a sign.
I saw that right away.
Yeah, give him credit for that at least.
True story.
Okay.
True story.
So, you made
Yes,
Motion.
yes.
second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I forgot, I'm looking to you, like, can you run this meeting for me? Okay, so, item 26-020-25-0383, ordinance to incorporate standard noise level limits into alcohol licensing laws. Discussion on this will be Alderwoman Noah, would you like to come in?
Okay,
Okay. Is Caleb here by chance, or?
he's down, but I know a lot from him because I talked to him about it
Okay,
quite a bit.
so, background on this is,
So,
give me just a second, Patty. Background that I know on this is when we revamped the ordinance on noise and whatnot, we changed it, from what I thought was no longer decibels, it was more of a, can you hear it from so many feet, so 150 feet, for example. because our PD doesn't have decibel readers. We use decibel readers like for health and safety and things like that. So we have establishments that are still going by decibel readers, got approval on their applications for decibel, and the applications are not reflecting it the same way with the same verbiage. So we've got some that are going by decibel reading from my understanding, and some that are not and just doing by ear. And Kale, from what I had known, said you can have both the same way. It can mean the same thing. So Patty, I'm gonna send it over to you now.
Basically, we had an issue, there was a noise complaint, the bar said, hey, I'm going by what my permit says, the permit says this decibels at this reader. The police officer informed him they no longer do that because police can't carry, they don't have decibel readers that are actual legit. Double checked with Kale, he said that is correct, back in April of this year, it was switched. There's a new ordinance for this. And I said, well, why wasn't it updated on their permits, cause nobody's doing that, they're going what's written on their permit for noise. And he didn't know why, but he said, all we have to do is sponsor it to have it written on there to reflect the ordinance. Not a huge deal, that way the police, when they're checking noise, and the bar owners, businesses are all on the same page. So that what's on their permit reflects what the current ordinance is, since it wasn't changed at the time. He said because it wasn't changed then and it's being changed now, it had to be sponsored. So he sent over the wording to me, I talked to the head of your committee about it, made sense, and that was it.
Okay, and what I'd like to add is, we get a lot of complaints from, residents even that say, okay, my neighbor's got his car going, or they got mariachi bands in their driveway every weekend. True story. And it's like, okay, so the police come out and they say, well, we didn't hear it from 3 doors down. Now say Paulie's, he was our pilot on all of this. Paulie's is playing, bands constantly at 100 decibels. You can hear that 3 doors down. So changing what we've already changed, that's kind of a question I would have to Kale is, how can it be kind of the same as it was before, because it's legitimately not. And the particular bar in question that had noise complaints, if somebody was across the street, a double lane street, they could hear it, would that still be a violation where it was a nuisance to them?
Well, and I think that would be more of a question on the ordinance itself, not just the wording switch.
Exactly, so
Cause the ordinance is already into effect, that would have been a question when we passed it, he said back in April.
right, but from my understanding, that's what I'm trying to say, is that wasn't changing. It was 150 feet, 3 doors down. And I don't know, it seems like a simple fix to say, okay, let's let it reflect on the permits. It should be. Anytime we make an ordinance change, it should automatically reflect on the permits.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I'm
please.
reading what we are going to redact. It says no outdoor premise may be the source of sound that measures over 100 decibels within 100 feet from the outdoor premise. That's being redacted. And it says that, oh, here it comes. And it says that the license shall comply with municipal code 7.23. So I just told them that the 100 feet, 100 decibels will be redacted. And we're gonna follow 7.23.
Yep, it's adopted, it would give it the standard that's there now, just following standard city ordinance is applicable everywhere else.
Right, and Attorney Decker, the thing that I had questioned is, I know we worked together and we adopted the change to the noise ordinance to make it, be more streamlined. But if we have applicants, and I just said, like there's an instance that somebody says, my neighbor's got a mariachi band playing, every weekend. But when the PD comes, they can't hear it from 3 doors down. What's the difference between that and say Paulie's, who's having actual rock bands every weekend? How does that play into it? Because I don't wanna say, okay, let's change this when maybe we need to revisit and look at the ordinance again and how it's written altogether.
Yeah, so in the change, the standard was just 100 decibels, measured 100 feet from the property line. This would take the standard, change it to noise ordinance, but it still allows the council to grant some sort of special exemption or a different standard for particular licensees. So if there is a licensee who you have louder noise occurring than that, council can limit out, create any other custom
So in the instances of Polly's, we gave that special provision and noted it on their permit, so they would still go by decibels.
However you would like to measure it in the future, yes.
Okay. But
Decibels
on their
is-
current permit,
Yeah.
that would be, so it
Yes.
wouldn't say, okay, you don't go by that, you have to go by the ordinance as it's written.
Yeah, any previously granted permission you carry through, because that standard did not change.
Okay. Okay. So, any questions on this?
Madam Chair, so
Please.
this is just alcohol licensing, this isn't my neighbor a block away and I can hear his party loud and clear,
Correct.
just alcohol.
In that,
License.
in that situation, the noise ordinance as it is already applies. This was a different standard set up specifically for those who have a retail alcohol license. It was much more generous than what the standard ordinance was. The standard ordinance will take that in, but still allow the council to make custom standards for any particular licensee. But you need to analyze that to make sure that in that particular case, it's okay if it's louder.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I move approval. Second.
Okay, there's a motion, a second, any further discussion?
Thank you, Daddy.
Thanks, Ben. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.